Welcome to the opening round of Season 4 of the F1 2018 Banter Racing League. And we are here for the Australian Grand Prix in the Albert Park circuit in Melbourne. And here we are with the Ferrari of Whatmaster. The lineup changed and Ping and Whatmaster are teammates once again, and they are both at Ferrari. Whatmaster took pole position for this race, a 120.658, and the reigning champion Agonza moved to McLaren from Red Bull, and he qualifies second. Ping too high in the other Ferrari has a grid penalty for Agonza parking on the apex of that corner, so the grid penalty was actually not his fault, so it turns out that the game gave him that for no reason. And Jagger has a qualifying ban for this in Season 3, in the Season 3 finale in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He just crashed into the wall on purpose and just got 4 penalty points, so he will start from the back for this Australian Grand Prix. Whatmaster qualifies on pole position by only 76 thousandths for Ferrari, ahead of Agonza in second place for McLaren. Then Dragonico, a new driver in the league for Renault, is in P3. Ristel in P4 for Sauber. Then Ivan in P5 for McLaren. Then Ping too high in 6th, but he's going to start 11th. Combined in 7th for Force India. Haritech in 8th for Renault. Then Cryptox in 9th, ahead of his teammate Savage for Williams in 10th and 9th and 10th. And the two Mercedes, Boxy and Jagger, at the back of the grid. So, here we are coming towards the formation lap. We have got Whatmaster on pole position in his new team Ferrari. It's his first race for Ferrari, and he takes pole position. The reigning world champion Agonza for McLaren has taken second place, and we're looking to get Whatmaster to turn 1. And Dragonico with a very decent qualifying on his debut in P3 for Renault. So, Whatmaster leads the formation lap coming into turn 3. We have a heavy rain race today here in Melbourne. It's the first time we have had a heavy rain race in Australia in quite a long time. It doesn't usually rain in Australia that much. And here is Combined in the Force India. Moved to Red Bull, was in Red Bull last season, didn't have the greatest second half, but Force India, he moved to the Ping of Force India because he just enjoyed driving the car. So Ristel was in Renault last season, and he's moved to Sauber. And Ping too high, of course, was the runner-up from last season. He finished second, and he moved to Ferrari from Sauber. Both of the Saubers last season have moved to Ferrari as their teammates. On board with Vladimir Jagger in the formation lap. He is starting from last place after the quali ban. That happened after the Abu Dhabi incident. So here we go, at the end of the formation lap here in Australia. Whatmaster is going to line up on the grid first, and we already have cars on the grid because they were removed from the formation lap, and those cars are Haritech and Cryptox. They have probably collided on the formation lap maybe, and they have both been disqualified from the formation lap. Whatmaster lines his Ferrari up on pole position, Agonza beside him in the McLaren, with Dragonico in P3 for Renault. And here we go. The lights are coming on for the opening round of BRL Season 4. It's away we go for the Australian Grand Prix, and Whatmaster gets a lot of wheel spin off the start there, and Agonza's going to go alongside him into turn 1. And is Agonza going to get the lead into turn 1? Yes, he is. Agonza gets into the lead, into the first corner, but he oversteers as well. So, down towards turn 3, we have Agonza leading from Whatmaster in the Ferrari ahead of Dragonico, who keeps third place for Renault. And then, it is P4 for, I don't know who's P4, it's, I think Ristel has kept P4 for Sauber, and then Combined has kept P5 for Force India. And then we have, so on board with Vladimir Jagger now in the Mercedes. He has moved up to 9th place, moved up 3 places already, ahead of Ping and Savage and Cryptox. And here we go, we have madness up ahead here. There's a lot of cars slowing down, and there's Harry. Harry has made contact with Jagger there, and he's had to go across the grass, and Jagger's been given a 5-second stop-go penalty for corner cutting. That's quite interesting there. But now, here we go, on the end of the fast chicane, still on lap 1 of this Australian Grand Prix, and Workmaster is behind Agonza, coming down into turn 13. Agonza runs a little bit wide there, and now Workmaster's going to go on the inside into the next right-hander at turn 14, and Workmaster retakes the lead on the inside at the end of the first lap. So, at the end of lap 1, we have Workmaster leading, retaking the lead from Agonza. Then we have Dragon Nico in P3. Ristel is running P4 for Sauber. Then we have Ivan in P5, ahead of Combined in P6 for Force India. And then we have Jagger in P7 already for Mercedes, ahead of his teammate Boxy. And then we have, I don't know who it is there, one of the Williams, I think, in 8th or 7th. But now here we go, on board with P2 High in the Ferrari. Right at the back of the grid, only Cryptox is behind him after he got spun at the first corner. So, we will see that on a replay in a second, but now, here is Ping now, he's going to go much better traction than Savage, he goes to the inside of him, coming down into fast, no, it's just a kink. And now to turn 11, Savage gets overtaken by Ping, and now Ristel has dropped back from P4 there, what has happened to him? We'll see a replay of that too, maybe. But now here we go into turn 13, lap 2 of this Australian Grand Prix. Harry is up to P8. As now here we go, Ping too high. There's big contact there, and Ping has spun, and Ping has been taken out by Savage in the Williams. So he has dropped down to P12, and that's last place. And the virtual safety car has been deployed for Ping spinning out at turn 13 there after Savage made contact with him. But, I don't know what has happened to Ristel, who is running in 4th place, and he is now coming into the pits to probably change his front wing. Here we go, here's a replay from Combined's point of view, and he has Ivan up ahead, and there is Ristel going off the track, so maybe he spun out into the wall and lost his front wing, and that's probably why he's pitted. But continuing on, and Combined is actually trying to challenge Ivan at this point into turn 11. And, ooh, there was a bit of a lag there. We need to turn 11 and 12 now. And here we go. Through towards turn 13. Combined had the slipstream on the McLaren. And he tried to go up the inside into turn 13 here. Cut the corner a little bit, and there was a little bit of contact there. Combined almost spun out. And Vladimir Jagger took the position from the Force India driver there. And is now all over the back of Ivan in the McLaren. So Jagger already up into P5 from last place. He's made up 7 places within 2 laps. He is really the comeback master. I remember in Italy last season he went from, I think it was 8th or 9th. Wasn't even 10th last season. He went up to 2nd within 1 lap. And here we go, here comes Vladimir Jagger up the inside of Ivan in the McLaren, and he's got that move done into 4th place already, and Ivan has drifted off the track there, and he has lost a few positions, in fact, 2 positions. He's lost it to Combined and to Harry Tech there, and now here is Combined up in 5th place at the moment. He is behind Vladimir Jagger, who is in 4th place already after 3 laps. Here we go, on board with Pingshu High. 11, he's in 2nd last place at the moment. Only Ristel is behind him after his little incident down at turn 9. Pingshu High is going to pit. He's got front wing damage. And he's going to change his front wing. Obviously a new set of wets, because it's raining for the entire race. It won't stop, so it's going to be raining for the whole race. It won't improve anytime soon. Like, it won't improve so you can go to inters or slicks, for example. And the stop was 8.5 seconds because of the front wing change. And Ping obviously rejoins in P12 in last place. Behind Ristel, of course, and Cryptox, but Ristel is way behind Cryptox at the moment. And he's at turn 4. So here we go, lap 4 of this Australian Grand Prix. And here we go with Pingshu High coming into turn 3. He has just changed his front wing. From probably involved in the incident with Cryptox, he spun at turn 1 on lap 1. We have heard, so Let's see what has happened. So here's the replay of the start. Combined in the Force India has a view of the start. He started 6th on the grid, even though he qualified 7th due to Peter High's grid penalty. Combined had a pretty decent start there, and there was a little bit of lag there. And Ristol did indeed stay 4th into turn 1, and and Combined stayed 6th into turn 1. Well, let's see what happened. Yeah, you can see Agonza probably just ahead, taking the lead from Wattmaster once again. That was a very good start from Agonza. Now Harry almost touched the back of Combined there, so that was very interesting there. And you can see Ivan, or Ristol is pulling away from Ivan at this point. Here we go, on board with Cryptox off the start. Cryptox in the Williams. Harry is already lagging off the start there. As now here we go with Cryptox coming down towards turn 1. And he is on the very tight inside line and has made contact with the side pod of the Renault of Harry, and he's just spun out. He's just gone 180 degrees backwards after hitting the side of Harry's car. Maybe there was contact behind as well, but it was definitely from the side of Harry's car first. But there was a little bit of contact behind. On board with Ping Too High off the start. He already got past Boxy off the start and Savage, but Boxy had an even better second part of the launch. As now coming into turn 1, you can see Cryptox being spun around there, and that is how Ping got damaged. He ran into the back of Boxy's rear. And there is Savage getting back past Ping after he crashed into the back of Boxy there. So Ping has got damaged once again. So not once again. That's how he got damaged, basically. He just ran into the back of Boxy's rear. It was a little bit unlucky, because Boxy was trying to avoid Cryptox, who spun out. So that was a bit unlucky for Ping there. On board with Vladimir Jager off the start. He started from last place on the grid. And he had a pretty decent start, to be honest. As now here we go. Well, he actually backed out of the start there. Savage got a really bad start, went from 10th to 12th. As now coming into turn 1, Vladimir Jager sees Cryptox, actually avoids him there, gets past Ping after he ran into the back of Boxy and got damage. And Jager running behind his teammate at this point is now coming into turn 3. You can see Combined and Harry battling on that corner. And turn 4. And Jager still hanging around his teammate, Boxy, who's named Billy in-game for some reason, I don't know why. As now here we go, lap 6 of this Australian Grand Prix. And Vladimir Jager has caught right up to the back of Dragon Eco in the Renault. And he's going to go for a podium place within 7 laps. Dragon Eco is in AI mode, so this could be an easy pass for Jager here. Is Jager going to go for it into turn 3? Surely not from that far back. But probably on an AI he will. Yes, here he goes. Jager goes up the inside and gets into the podium places. Within 7 laps, Jager has gained 8 places. So a very good start for Vladimir Jager. In fact, no, it's actually 9 places. He's gained 9 places. He's gone from 12th to 3rd. And we're back on lap 6. At the back of the field, we have the Ferrari of Ping Too High. And he is catching the 2 guys, Ristol and Harry Tech, who are battling up ahead. And now into the final corner. Harry Tech is on the inside of Ristol. Gets the move done, the Renault. And now there goes Ping Too High on the inside of the Sauber. And gets up into P11. And there is Ivan coming out of the pit lane. And there is Ristol going across the track into turn 1. And spins out. What happened to him there? That was weird. Maybe he touched the grass or something, or completely lost his brakes. I don't know what happened to Ristol there, but he has dropped down to the back of the grid once again, so he's having a terrible start to his season. Here we go. Ping is now catching Harry in the Renault. Coming down towards turn 4 and into turn 5. And here we go. Back at the end of the lap. And Harry is now definitely being caught by Ping. Coming into the final corner. Ping Too High is now going to get the slipstream on Harry coming down towards turn 1. And the Rich Mix is available in the overtake mode. It's now coming into turn 1 now. Harry defends the inside line. That's going to probably affect his exit out of turn 2. And Ping too high gets a penalty over corner cutting. But now Ping gets better traction out of turn 2 and gets past Harry on the inside through turn 2. And just before turn 3, Ping too high locks up there. Can Harry get him back? No, he can't. Ping too high has got the position and he's moved up into 9th place. So he's back in the top 10. And Harry has spun out straight into the wall there. And that is a fortunate moment for him. And Harry has retired from the session as well. So he has managed to crash out. And also Ristel retired in the pits because he gave up his race. So, that's understandable for the Sauber driver because he... I don't know why he drifted across the track. But he was having a terrible race. So it's understandable why he retired. And just gave up on his race and retired in the pits, so that's a safe place to do it, retiring in the pit lane. It's a very safe place to retire. Wattmaster still leads this race on lap 11. He sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:38.1. And Wattmaster just drifted around turn 1. Agonza is not catching him. He's keeping up with him, but he's not catching him. So could Wattmaster take the win in this race? We'll find out. Because I'm not sure if Wattmaster can do it, but we'll see. Can Agonza, the reigning world champion, take the win here in Australia, or can Wattmaster hold on to take the win? Here we go, Combined in the Force India is coming into the pits. And he's obviously going to change onto another set of wets. And this is from P5. Combined is having a lonely race at the moment. He has got no one in front of him and no one behind him. He is not battling with anyone at all. He is going to come out behind the two Williams of Savage and Cryptox. But he's not going to come out behind Ping in the Ferrari after being held up by... He was probably held up a bit by Ristel and Harry. And so Combined will get out ahead of Ping. But he's dropped to P7 after that pit stop. Probably a few laps too early, but it doesn't matter really. Ping just set the fastest lap. I think it was a 1:38 as well. Or maybe even a 1:37. But he beats his teammate's lap of a 1:38.1. So for the 3rd season in a row, and actually in every BRL season, except for the first season, of course, when they weren't in the league, Ping and Wattmaster have been teammates. Season 2 in Williams, Season 3 in Sauber, and now Season 4 in Ferrari. Vladimir Jego comes into the pits for Mercedes. He's the only one who's stuck with his Season 3 team. He stayed with the Mercedes for this season, and he's going to serve his 5-second stop-go penalty for cutting the corner on lap 1 after being hit by Harry. So that's going to lose him a lot of time. That's going to cost him. Turns out Dragon Nico could have the same penalty because he was held in the pits as well, so it's quite interesting there. I wonder how Dragon Nico got it. But Cryptox will come out ahead of these two. Probably stand out a lap later. Going for a little overcut, but overcut on Savage, I guess, his teammate. He's obviously not racing Jagger and Dragon Nico at the moment. So I don't think he's going. I don't think he's trying to aim to get ahead of them, to be honest with you. But yeah, Jagger rejoins in P4 and behind Cryptox, and he was ahead of Dragon Nico ever since Dragon Nico went into AI mode. So into turn 6, lap 15 of this race. We are halfway through this Australian Grand Prix, this wet Australian Grand Prix to open up the season. And here we go, on board with Ping once again. On lap 15, he's doing some drifts around that penultimate corner, but now Cryptox has pitted for Williams. And he is obviously stayed on the wet tyres. And it's going to be really close in the pits, but Ping Too High has got past the Williams of Cryptox and gets into P6. He gets him out of the pits, so it's a very interesting race. Not that eventful, but very interesting pit stop strategies here. Because Cryptox stayed one lap later than everyone else, and Combined just pitted earlier, so quite interesting. Quite some interesting strategies. Not the most eventful race though. to be honest. Anyway, sorry, not combined. Ping is coming in for Ferrari for his second pit stop in this Australian Grand Prix. And it's obviously another set of wets because the conditions are not going to improve. It's going to be wet the whole race, as I said earlier. And Wattmaster's disconnected from the session. That's going to cost him. He's already lost the lead to Agonza, so that's his win. Absolutely screwed. Meanwhile, Ping Chuhai has come out in last place behind Ivan and Savage, who are battling on track. So he's going to try and catch them in the last 10 laps. But Wattmaster disconnected from this race, and Agonza has taken the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. He is back to where he left off, even though he didn't win a single race since Italy in his championship winning season. He didn't win a single race since he won in Monza. As now here is Vladimir Jego, the replay of him overtaking Wattmaster, who disconnected from the session, and Jego gets into second place with 10 laps to go. So, Jego has started last on the grid and has moved up into P2. This is an amazing comeback from the Mercedes of Vladimir Jego. A very good comeback. I don't know how he does it really, because he's done it before. He's got a quali ban in Malaysia in Season 2 on F1 2017, and he also finished in P2, so I don't know how he does these comebacks from last, but it's pretty impressive, to be honest. Ping has actually caught up now to the back of Ivan and Savage. Here we go, coming into turn 13 and turn 14. This is the battle for P7, the three-way battle for P7. It is the only battle on track at the moment. Ivan is looking to get past the Williams of Savage, but the charging Ping is trying to get past them both. Is that going to happen? We'll find out. Lap 22 starts here in Melbourne, Australia. And into turn 1, Ivan tries to challenge up the inside. Oh, no, he doesn't, actually. Ivan had a little look up the inside, I think, but he didn't quite get the move on Savage. And Ping can't really see anything through the spray he's got there. So this is quite interesting. Ping can't see a thing. He can't even see the apex of the corner. That's ridiculous visibility. Well, it's actually realistic. As now here we go. Ivan and Savage, and actually Ping has switched to the T-cam, so that's probably how much he can't see. I think he probably can't see through the cockpit view, so he's just changed to the normal view. But now Ivan's got some bad traction, and here comes Ping looking up the inside into turn 9. He's not going to quite get the position there. And can Ping get P7 from both these two, who are battling like hell? It's a three-way battle, the only battle on track as well, as I said before. Here we go. The next lap starts of the Australian Grand Prix here in Melbourne. And Savage is now going to try and be challenged by the McLaren of Ivan. Coming down towards turn 1. Is he going to get this move? Here he goes. Ivan tries to go up the inside into turn 1. Is he going to get into P7? Ivan and Savage are side by side through turn 1. But here comes Ping on the outside and overtakes Ivan. But now here we go. They're side by side. Ping and Savage coming down towards turn 3. Ping is going to go round the outside of the Williams, and he's got the inside line for turn 4, and Ping has made 2 overtakes within 2 corners. What a nice move from the Ferrari, and he finally gets up into 7th place. Ping Chuhai gets into 7th after overtaking Ivan through turn 1 and overtaking Savage through turn 3 around the outside. That was a nice move on Savage from Ping. So a very nice overtake. Here we go, Combined still all alone by himself in P5. Comes into the pits for a second time, and he's going to go onto the wets again. But can he go ahead of Ping Chuhai? Can he stay ahead of Ping? That's what he's aiming to do by doing the second pit stop. He's just doing an extra pit stop to get fresher tyres at the end. But can he get ahead of Ping? That's the question. 2.8 seconds is the pit stop for Force India. But it doesn't look like he's going to get ahead of Ping. Yep, Ping has got ahead of Combined there. And he sets the fastest lap for 1:35. That's a scorching lap from Ping Shu Hai there, and Wattmaster disconnected once again, so that's the second time he has disconnected from this Australian Grand Prix. That is really unfortunate. He started from pole position, battled with Agonza for the lead, and has now completely dropped off from the lead of this race due to 2 disconnections. He's even dropped out of the podium places. That's very unlucky for the Ferrari, the Slovakian Ferrari driver. That is so unfortunate. Meanwhile, here is Vladimir Jega from last place, chasing down the leader, Agonza. Is this going to be a win for Jega? If this is a win for Jega, this could be an amazing comeback. Started from P12, remember? And he is now trying to challenge for P1 from the McLaren of Agonza. So this is going to be a very interesting fight to the end. Jega is actually catching Agonza. 2.6 seconds is the gap between the two of them. 2 laps remain here in Australia, the first race of the season. It's going to be a very tense battle on the last lap for the lead of this race between Agonza and Jega. Started from last, of course, and Agonza started P2, so it's amazing comeback once again. Dragon Nico started 3rd and has stayed 3rd for the entire race, although he was 4th at one point, but has retaken P3 after Wattmaster's disconnection. So it's going to be a podium in his. It's going to be a podium for Dragon Nico in his debut race in this league. So that's a good achievement for him. Meanwhile, heading towards the last lap, Vladimir Jega is catching Agonza, and what's the gap now at the end of lap 28 of this race, the penultimate lap? The gap now is 1.7 seconds. Jega is catching Agonza. Is this going to be a win for the Mercedes? The last time Jega won was the Spanish Grand Prix last season, when Agonza got drive-through penalties, of course. So it's kind of a lucky win. And he fought with Combined for the race win. And Combined has never won a race in BRO 2017/2018. So that was an interesting fight to have. Jega won 2 races before, and Combined has never won a single race in this league. He did win in 2016 before, of course, but not in 2018. Never won in 2018. So, the gap at the end of the second sector was probably around the same gap, 1.5 seconds. But it's definitely closer now at the end of turn 9. And Dragon Nico is 15 seconds behind, so he's going to get a comfortable P3 and he's all alone. But now, through turn 11 and 12, Jega is now 1.1 seconds. He's probably not going to get him. Unless he gets within a second and tries to overtake him through the last few corners. It's not going to be enough for the Mercedes of Vladimir Jega. It's been a magnificent comeback from the Serbian, but it's not going to be enough to take the victory. As we come around the final few corners, here in the Australian Grand Prix, it's been a very, very wet Australian Grand Prix, and Wattmaster's retired on the last lap of the race. So the pole sitter is out on the last lap. Meanwhile, round the final corner, Agonza is going to take the opening race of the season, just holding off Vladimir Jega in second place. Agonza takes the win for McLaren, his first win in this league since Monza last season, and he is back to winning ways once again. The reigning world champion, Dragon Nico, comes across the line for his first podium in his first ever race in this league. A good achievement for the Renault driver. A very nice achievement. Agonza just held off Vladimir Jega for the win, and the gap was only 6 tenths in the end. That was very, very close. But could Jega have won the race if he didn't have the 5-second stop-go that he had to serve in the middle of the race? Ping Shu Hai crosses the line for P4 for Ferrari. A decent comeback from him after starting in P11, but here is Combined in the Force India. He has less penalties than Ping. Is he going to get ahead of him? Yes, he is! Combined takes 4th place for the 2nd year running in Australia, and Ping Shu Hai drops down to 5th. Ivan in the McLaren takes P6. So, after Agonza took victory, his teammate Ivan has finished in P6. Savage in the Williams takes 7th place, and now here comes Cryptox in the other Williams, finishing in 8th place. He benefited 8th place after Wattmaster dramatically retired on the final lap of this Australian Grand Prix. Let's see what happened to Whatmaster. He's coming through turn 9 and turn 10, and he's just lost the car straight into the wall. So that was a very, that was just like the slippery conditions. He probably touched the white line on the, just where the wall was, and slid off straight into the wall. So that's an unfortunate crash. On the last lap, the pole sitter crashes out of the race. Agonza kisses the trophy and is back to winning ways in the BRL League. His last win was Monza last season. He did not win a single race since then in Season 3, but still won the championship. Vladimir Jega coming from second place on the grid to take... coming from 12th place on the grid, I should say, to take second place for Mercedes. Dragonico, on his debut, gets a podium for Renault, ahead of combined in P4 for Force India, then P2 in P5 for Ferrari, Ivan in P6 for McLaren, Savage in 7th, ahead of his teammate Cryptox, and the DNFs of this race were Whatmaster, Boxy, Harry, and Ristel. And the championship standings are the same as the race results. Agonza leads with 25 points for McLaren, ahead of Vladimir Jega in P2 for Mercedes, Dragonico in P3 with 15 points for Renault, ahead of combined in 4th for Force India. And then we have Pinshu High for Ferrari in 10th place, ahead of Ivan in 6th place for McLaren, ahead of Savage and Cryptox 7th and 8th for Williams. And Boxy, Harry Tech, Lucky Racer, Ristel, Thaboom, Ventrox, Wesley and Whatmaster have not scored points. As both Red Bulls of Ventrox and Wesley did not start, Lucky Racer didn't start either, and Thaboom didn't start as well. And the other guys DNF. So hopefully you enjoyed the first race of the season. It was quite eventful at the end, but otherwise not eventful. The next race is in Bahrain in the Sakhir International Circuit. See you then.